So I'm going to talk to you guys about a client situation. This is going to help you book a lot more. And from the clients that you get, you're going to actually make a lot more money too. Imagine you have a client. So they're going to come to you and they're going to say, I have a photo shoot that I need to get done and I love your work and I wanted to know how much you charge. So the first thing that you want to do is make sure that you don't tell them how much you charge, because you're not like a McDonald's item where it's just like a set price at a certain time. You're an artist and you need to charge like an artist. Otherwise, if you don't, you'll be treated like a vending machine, a McDonald's chicken McNugget 10-pack or something like that. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you do a board. I'm going to say a board that has 5 pages to it. Number 1 is a beautiful cover page with their name on it. Always do that. You have no idea how much of an effect that has. Number 2, on this board, you want to throw a whole bunch of photos and then you want to label it lighting. What kind of lighting are you going to use? Are you going to use natural light like over here? Or are you going to use strobe that is coming through and it's more of an artificial feel and they get to see how the lighting is and how the shadows and everything? Page 3 is going to be poses. Are there going to be a lot of poses like this? Are they going to be poses against a car or a white wall? Or just pull some references so they get an idea. By now, in their head, your rate is already starting to increase for them. They're like, oh, this photographer is different. Page number 4 is, I want you to do like overall vibe. Just call it a vibe page. And a vibe page would be something that just overall like the feeling, like when you get it. A bunch of photos, you're like just the mood and the vibe of this. And then the last page is obviously going to have all your contact information, but it's also going to have some wardrobe suggestions and some hair and makeup suggestions for them if that's what it requires. But everyone requires some kind of wardrobe. So when you give this, they're like, oh my God, this person kind of is going in that creative direction route. And I really appreciate that. Suddenly, if they're expecting to pay $1,000, they're willing to pay $1,500 or $1,600 just based off of that. So I've noticed that a lot of photographers will only give one price. And I don't like that. I don't like to be cornered against anything. No one likes to be cornered. So when you give one price, it's like, here you go. That is it. You want it or you don't. If you don't, you can leave. I always suggest giving in my step pricing course. By the way, that's linked down below. When I tell you there is no other course in photography pricing like this course. It is my whole career put together in a way that's digestible, that you get it in a couple of weeks, you finish the whole course, but you get community service, or a community, you get mentoring from me, you get cheat sheets and worksheets and templates. You get the whole pricing method. It breaks it all down. You get to see when you should charge, what your next step should be. It is such a damn good course. But let's talk about pricing again. So you're going to say your price. 3 is what you should be doing. That's what I tell people in my step course. 3 is something down here, something up here, and then something up here. The middle one is so high that they start selling the 3rd tier for you. And they're like, oh my God, who'd be so dumb to pick the second one? I'm either going to get the beginner one or the highest one. They just did all of the work for you. Now, the 3rd thing that I want you to look at, you can add 20% to any package. So let's just say in their mind, they're like, you start at like 1,000 and they're like, oh my God, this photographer is worth at least 1,500. So your lowest package is 1,000. Your second one is 1,700. Then the 3rd one is 1,900. So they're like, wait a minute, it just makes sense. Get the 3rd one, it's 1,900. But now there's going to be about $100 extra charge, and maybe you're going to get a couple rentals, a special lens that they really request and they approve it. So you're at $2,000. When I tell you I have taken like a $2,000 shoot and I've made it $11,000 easily, and they're happy to pay it, it happens. But now you're, let's say, at $2,000, and then you ask them, you're like, hey, are these photos used for personal or professional? Because would you like a social media package? And a social media package might be for covers for your YouTube, for thumbnails. Do you need like covers for your Instagram and your TikTok? Or what do you need? Do you want this resized for any capacity, for your headers on Pinterest or Twitter? Because a lot of times what might seem easy for you, for me, is very complicated for somebody else. What you want to do is you want to add a 20% package that is optional for them, and they say, yeah, I do want that. Thank you for thinking about that. So now 20% of 2,000 is $400. They're like, I'm already paying 2,000. What's another 400? I get everything delivered. Now you're at $2,400. This is going to really start increasing all the packages you get, and you start making a whole lot more money. And now they're thinking, okay, well, that's great. I'm putting all this money into it. About a week before, you're like, hey, completely optional. But I thought it might be really great if we do BTS. Entirely optional. I can bring somebody in. It's a little bit extra. It might be like, so a package is $2,400. It might be an extra $300. I got a buddy that owes me a favor, and they're going to shoot it for like $300. And they say, gosh, do I really need it? And you're like, it's up to you. But so much of the show is now BTS. I would say 75% of the time agree to a behind the scenes videographer. Now you're incorporating more services into your business. You also get to ask them to pay for an editing fee. They will decide. That's another way of adding another $500-600. So remember, in the beginning, they thought that you were maybe $1,000. And you start talking like, oh my God, this one's worth $1,500-1600. Then you give them choices of 3 different packages. So it starts really adding up. In fact, I would even say, if you're going to do a BTS package, I think it's fair to add about 30%. So if you have $2,000 package, 30%, that's another $600, because otherwise they're just sitting on a whole bunch of B-roll, and that's not good either. If you want to learn more from me, I have a free photographer survival package down below, and you get a whole bunch of freebies and worksheets and cheat sheets. If you want to learn more from me, I would really suggest this video. And if you love this channel and you want to support it, a subscribe, if you wish, would be appreciated. I'll talk to you next time. Thank you very much.